The roots of the coconut trees we use it to make inaki. Build our inaki known as the eel traps, fish traps. The trunk we use the trunk of the coconut trees, container. Building materials, posts for the homes, for the huts, vaka, fishing canoe. We use our trunk of the coconut trees to make our weapons, instruments, our drums. Moving up to the top, the leaves, kiko, coconut leaves in our fishing hut. We use the leaves for our fishing nets. I mentioned about tarama, torch. We use the leaves to make baskets, fishing hats. In our costume hut, we use it to make our costumes, hula skirts, the costume for the hats, titi. Okay, but even to weave, our people use these leaves. So you can see our warrior here, weaving a plate, which we call the rodo, known as our rodo. Now, this is the best time to weave the leaves while they're still green. Once it dries, then the leaves becomes hard. Right? They're very hard to weave. Sometimes it comes into the shape you need. So our people worked on these leaves while it's still green. You can see our warrior is completing the plate at the end, tying these leaves to make sure everything holds together. Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand for our warrior here. The good thing about this plate, there's no cleaning dishes at the end of a big meal. So after you use everything, goes on the side. All right? So that's what the ancestors use our leaf. From the leaves, then we'd like to move on to the coconuts. Here on the island, Rarotonga in the Cook Islands, you'll see there are different colors of the coconuts. Green coconuts, orange coconut, yellow coconuts, brown coconuts, bright green, dark green, different colors. Do you believe me? There are different colors of coconuts. And folks, they all taste the same. Whether it's a green or orange, they all taste the same. Taste like coconuts. But there are 6 stages to the growth of our coconuts. First stage is what we call tiare. Everybody say tiare. Tiare is known as a flower stage. So on these coconut trees, see the flower stage. There's one of these green ones. Right in front of us there, it's open. And that's called tiare. We hardly touch the flower stage. There's no need for you to pull them off. Because on the flower stage, there's about 15 to 20 to 30 coconuts on the flower stage alone. From the first stage, then we have the second stage, known as the koa. We have here the second stage, the young coconut. You find these stage, the fiber, the shells, they're easy to break and open, they're soft. Our people use this young stage mainly to go with their medicine. That's the important news of the second stage. From the second stage, then we have the third stage, and this is known as our nu. Say nu. Nu is a drinking stage. This is the drinking stage. You'll find the juice that's sweet, very nice to eat. The meat are very soft. Once you get this stage up, you can get a spoon and scoop the meat out. They're a little bit like jelly. Our children, they love eating it because they're very sweet. From our drinking stage, then we have the next stage called the komoto. That's known as the fourth stage. Komoto, half and ripe. You can tell a coconut when it turns half brown and half color with the coconuts, whether it's green or orange. But there's always a brown colored on. Means it's starting to ripe. Most important news on this stage, we are Tupuna, the ancestors used the husk to plant ropes, known as the sinnet. And our people use these sinnets, these ropes, you joint their vaka, their fishing canoe, to tie their huts down, even for their weapons. Rib shoes. I mentioned about the fishing shoes. Our people also use the coconut husks to plant their shoes. It all comes from the half and ripe. Then comes to the next stage, the fifth stage. This is the most important part of them all. This is where we get our coconut cream, or known as the coconut milk. There's the coconut juice, there's the cream. The cream, you have to work for the cream, you have to grate the coconut, and then squeeze and separate the cream. Coconut juice, from here, this stage. Cut it open, drink the juice out. So coconut cream, coconut oil comes from this stage. The copra comes from this stage. So when they turn brown, that means they are ripe. Can't tell a coconut when it's ripe, it turns brown. Yeah, like don't worry, he's ripe. Nice ripe. I can see that some of you are not ripe here. Alright, the most important thing, once they turn brown, they fall to the ground, so I have to be careful. Here in Rarotonga, or in the outer islands, wherever you go in the Cook Islands, you'll never see the locals sitting or lying underneath the coconut trees. I've seen lots and lots of tourists underneath coconut trees. The worst thing is parking your rented vehicle underneath coconut trees. My goodness, you're going to have a lot of bond to pay the cow. But I know coconut damage vehicle. If it falls on your head, it's worse than waking up from a hangover. That's it if you're going to wake up. So coconut comes down any time. When it falls to the ground, remains there a month and a half, 2 months without being removed. It grows into this stage. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the last stage of the coconuts, as well the beginning of another coconut trees. You see around here, there are some young coconut trees. What we do is we dig a hole the size of the coconut, put it in the hole, and cover the coconut. Don't cover the root, the leaves, just cover the coconut itself. Look after it. For the first 17 years of its life, you got coconuts on the trees. Coconut comes all year round. The more you eat, the more you get. There is no season for the coconuts. It's a continuous thing in the coconut. They come and they fall. That's why we call them Nu, a tree of life. Coconut comes all year round for you. You can eat as many as you want. Now, let's go back to the akari, which is the ripening stage. As I mentioned earlier on, for me, this is the most important part of the coconut. We use a lot of things from this stage. Has anybody here ever tried to open the coconut? At least tried. Those of you that tried, can I see your hands up? Yeah, that's more than trying this side. What about this side? Yeah. So the warrior at the back there tried. What did you use? What did you use to open the coconut?
Like a stick thing.
Like a stick thing?
Yeah, like a sharp stick. You get it on the with the hustle.
How long did it take you to open the coconut with the sharp thing? Long time. You managed to open it or you're still working on it?
Still working.
Still working on it. How are you try? What did you use, sir?
Ground.
Sorry?
Ground. Good.
Yes? Looks okay? No problem? All right. This hand's coming from this side here. Yes, sir? Cane knife. Wow. Didn't work out. The young lady here, try, what did you use?
Well, we used the ground and our hands.
You used the ground and the hands. You got it open. How long did it take you to open the coconut with the hands in the ground?
Half an hour.
Half a day? Half an hour. All right, and these young ones that tried to as well? Yeah. Let me tell you, there's many ways you can open the coconuts with. Your hands, you can throw the coconuts on the ground, get the lawnmower, run them over. But don't ever do that, you're going to make a lot of mess. The best thing to open the akari is what we call ko. Everybody say ko. 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 In English, sharp stick. But we all say sharp stick. You need a sharp stick to open the akari. Husking coconut, it's fun, but it can hurt yourself. Problem is there are times you strike coconut, your fingers get caught onto the sharp stick that can take your fingers right off. The worst thing is you strike the coconut, you miss the coconut. My goodness, you end up husking the wrong nut. So you have to be careful. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you, don't worry, how we open the coconut. First step is to kill the coconut, make sure you kill it. You put it on the sharp stick. This is different. Yeah, it's dead. Second step is you push and pull. And now we try and take the husk off. Once the husk comes off, every time the rest of the fibers will come off easily. So just keep on pushing or putting to the sharp stick. Push, put it to the sharp stick, push and pull until we get all the husk off. Ladies and gentlemen, a slow motion for your camera. And again, I believe this is what you have back home, the actual nut. Yes, if you look on the coconuts, every coconut I don't know about your coconuts, but our coconuts, there are 3 holes. We call them the mata-mata. As you can see, this one, they're starting to shoot. Now that's the first stage. When they stay on the ground for quite a long time, that's what happened. It will start to come out through the mouth of the coconut. Okay, in a couple of weeks, it will shoot out maybe into this stage. In a month's time, 2 months' time, getting higher. So yes, we have here, if you look every coconuts, we have these 3 holes on. We call them mata-mata. In between the eyes, there's a line that runs to the back of the coconut. Whereas what we do is we hit it across any of these lines. Okay, across the line. So the warrior will show you how to open your curry by hitting across, these 3 lines. You can use the hard stone, sharp stick. You can use your fingers and do the taekwondo. But the warriors use the stick. And of course, let's see the warrior with that 2 half cut. There we go. Let me tell you, open the coconuts, it is important to open them. You make sure when you open it, get 2 half. Because we use the shell of the coconuts after we take all the meat out. Then we use the shell of coconut for cups and plates. In our costume hunt, our people use it to make costumes. Women, they use coconut shells for their bra, which is good during rugby time. You don't get injured, you use coconut shells. Comes in different sizes. I'm talking about the coconut. But we take all the meat out from the shells, using what we call a kana. Our Tupun, the ancestors, they use ironwood, coconut shell, paro, or the clam shell. And they tie these shells onto a piece of wood, onto a platform they can tie with the cylinder on and sit on, so everything will be tight in the hole. Then they start taking these meat, turning the shells around, putting onto these shells, and all the meat comes off. In our rodo, we also have this fiber. This fiber of this material in our rodo that comes from the coconut trees as well, where the leaf forms in separate. At the base of the leaves, we have this fiber, what we call the kaka. Everybody say kaka. It's not the kaka you're thinking of. This is a kaka that we use for a strainer. Okay, to strain our medicine, to squeeze and separate the cream, we use the kaka. Right, so that's the fiber here. Yummy. Tastes like 7-ounce. Alright, well, we get the meat out from the shells and we use the kaka to separate the cream from the special coconut. Ladies and gentlemen, our coconut cream. Yep, that's the cream. Oh yes. Even our people, especially the women, they use coconut cream to condition their hairs, soften their hairs. Even our people use, especially when we work in our plantation, a lot of our people use coconut cream. They put them on their skin to stop them from burning. Coconut cream. But the most important use of the coconut cream, we use them to go with our food. That's important use. Ladies and gentlemen, our coconut show. Meta ki mata.